Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and we're back here with some more stories from Reddit. It's been a little while, I hurt my neck again, but I think I can handle this. Reddit Am I the Asshole is the place where you can post stories from your life and ask who is the antagonist in the situation. You can also get a lot of advice from Redditors, and get gawked at by Twitter. Well, let's get started with stories from Reddit Am I the Asshole. But I'm lying because this first story is from Reddit Am I Wrong apparently. Is my boyfriend too obsessed with his friend, or am I being crazy? So I, 20 female, and my boyfriend, 20 male, have been together for a while. We've always had issues with him prioritizing his friends over me in the past, and now it's happening again, but so much worse. He has this one friend, 18 male, that he's pretty much obsessed with. This particular friend and I do not get along for various reasons. Mainly because he feels it's okay to yell at me and talk down to me. What's worse is that he has done this multiple times in front of my boyfriend, but when I say something, my boyfriend gets mad at me, because he's my friend, and he's just joking, stop being such a bitch. I've brought it up multiple times how it makes me uncomfortable that he hangs out with someone who so openly disrespects me in our relationship. But he says I'm crazy because he's a guy. It's gotten to the point where he talks to him every day and takes him everywhere. If he goes to the store, he picks up his friend just to tag along. If he plays something, he only plays with his friend. Even to his house, he'll take him when he needs to pick something up. He takes him everywhere, yet never me, because I don't like him and so I don't want him to be uncomfortable with you, amongst other things. He won't make plans with me because they could intrude with their plans, and not to mention on the rare chance we do make plans, he always tried to leave early to hang out with him and never actually plans anything the way he does with his friend. I had to be the one to make the plan for us, if not we'd do nothing. He also got him a job at our shared job, so they're together literally every day. He's always texting and talking to him when I barely get a text or snap back most days. And again, every time I bring it up, he yells at me, saying that I am crazy and controlling and that I don't want him to have friends, and that I'm worrying for nothing because he's a guy. Before someone asks, I've asked him multiple times if he's gay and in love with him, and he says no, he's just his friend. He's never had a boyfriend or done anything with men, only women before, and not expressed interest in guys in that manner. So I think he's telling the truth, but who really knows? I'm so lost and so tired of arguing about this and feeling like I'm third-wheeling them. So am I wrong in being crazy, or is he going too far? Oh god, it's usually pretty easy to tell when someone else loses interest in you and finds someone else. He's such a dick to her too. It's not really calling her a bitch, but just how casually he did it. We're gonna have to read some comments here. I only read to the part where she says the friend yells at her and her boyfriend just calls her a bitch. That would be a major deal breaker. Do you want to deal with this for the rest of your life, OP? A boyfriend you can't depend on to support you or defend you, but you can depend on them to call you a bitch whenever you are hurt by something? Remember, it takes two people to be treated like this. The perpetrator and you for staying. Truly, it doesn't matter if boyfriend is in the closet and has a crush on his friend, or if they really are just friends. That's the wrong thing to focus on. Either way, boyfriend is highly prioritizing his buddy here, which is totally fine and understandable for a 20-year-old. It just means he's not in a spot to have a girlfriend, and they should break up so he can go experience what he clearly wants to, and she can go find someone who will prioritize her, which is also what she deserves. The age is a good point. I'd be more tempted to call the guy gay if he wasn't 20 years old. It's pretty normal for immature people to neglect their partner. Right? OP, based on your post history, this man-child has already cheated on you, then was showing up with scratches all over himself. Why the hell are you staying? Like, genuinely. He is so toxic that I don't get the appeal. Well, we better go check that out, huh? My boyfriend always has scratch marks on his body that he claims he gets in his sleep. Am I being paranoid or is he telling the truth? Basically, as the title says, my boyfriend of a year always has scratch marks on him. They'll be on his chest and all over his back and arms. He's claimed time and time again that he gets them in his sleep, but he has a habit of biting his nails, so he doesn't have any to have caused those scratches. And those on his back are the ones that I doubt the most, because there's no way he could have done them himself. Before anyone asked, no, I didn't do them. Every time I ask him about it, he gets defensive and starts yelling at me for asking about it, saying, oh, it's 'cause you just want me to be cheating on you. So okay then. And all this other stuff. There's been multiple instances of this happening, and I've tried to believe him, but literally not an hour ago, I saw more marks on his back, and the same fight happened all over again when I asked him about them. Am I being stupid and trying to believe, or is he lying to me? Well, that sure paints a picture of this guy gaslighting her and calling her crazy and controlling for at least months on end. Let me know what you think about the story if you want. Some people are saying it happens if you have too much cortisol, but I have no idea about that. Am I the asshole for demanding that my husband pays half of the takeaway food we order? My husband, 40 male, and I, 35 female, have very different jobs. Basically, I make double than what he does, and he argues that I should pay for takeaway food, especially because I am the wife and it is my role to cook. Therefore, if I cannot cook, I should make up for it by paying for takeaways, since he already shares the split bill for groceries and rent. To give you a little bit of context, I have just taken on a new role at the start of this month as the head of a department, with 6 new members of staff and a lot of loose ends to tie from previous leadership. We both wake up at 4:30 a.m., and while he gets home at around 3:30 p.m., I find myself arriving around 5:30 p.m. on a light day. His job involves food processing, and while it is a laborious process, when he leaves his workplace, that's the end of the day for him. Whereas I come home and continue working from home, including weekends, until around 9 p.m., when I just pass out as I am too tired. For him, home time means 90% being on his phone/laptop, watching videos and playing games, making coffees and smoking his cigarettes. I am not going to lie and say he never helps. He does clean the bathroom and hoovers occasionally, once a month, and does the dishes, not without complaining though. Now it has come to the point where a few months ago, while he had one too many drinks, he told everyone at the table that he was investing all his money in my ass. This is when I started downloading every single receipt for grocery, phone bills, rent, Uber drives, takeaways, holiday accommodations, plane tickets, etc., all paid by me. His argument is that some of those trips were things that I wanted to do or see, which is why I never reproached anything to him. However, the fishing trip that he wanted so much also came out of my own pocket, and I never asked him a dime for it. Oh, this guy is a total fool. I would have humiliated him in front of everyone if he said something like that when I was actually out earning him and paying for everything. Also, he's doing this traditional thing all wrong, I think. If the woman's doing all the cooking because she's the woman, then shouldn't he be buying the fast food at least? Last month, as we were mostly on holiday, he only contributed with around $200 towards monthly expenses with rent, food, and bills, which again I did not complain about, as I knew that he wasn't paid for most of that month. But now, once he is working, he is refusing to give me anything that is beyond rent, bills, and groceries, stating that I am the woman of the house and it is my job to do the cooking. I told him that I am spread thin these days until everything is more streamlined with everything at work, and that maybe he could cook every now and then, or heat some ready-made food, microwave or oven. But he asked me what was the point of him getting married if he was going to do the cooking himself. Paying $200 a month must be nice. I'd feel a little less poor for sure. I do really like that this is a 40-year-old man's idea of what marriage is about. So am I the asshole for wanting the bills to be split equally if both of us are eating? Also, not one single time when I asked him about ordering did he mention the fact that I would have to pay for all of it. In certain instances, he was even the one asking me to order food. Edit. Having read the post that was shared here earlier, I noticed a few differences though. They were both going 50-50 for everything, including holidays, plane tickets, etc. I paid this summer alone around $3,000 of my own money, and he didn't contribute with anything. I didn't even ask him to. Also, 90% of the clothes and shoes he has, I buy them for him, which I don't think was the situation where the wife had to max out her credit cards. I only pointed out the half split when he started keeping the money to himself, rather than contribute to shared things. Only because I thought I was being taken advantage of. Whenever he has some money, he will spend it on some fishing gear, which he already has plenty of, or other gadgets. I, on the other hand, put money into a savings account which will go towards a house for us, whenever there will be enough for a deposit. I am not trying to play the victim card, but rather to understand if it should be me paying for the takeaways to compensate for the fact that I don't have time to cook. Edit number 2, for those wondering why we have separate finances, it is because whenever he has access to some money, he just spends it on boilies, twisters, baits, etc. Trust issues, red flags, I know. Also, for those wondering why I'm still with him or what I get out of this marriage, it's simple. I love him. I suggested counseling, but he laughed in my face, saying I'm crazy and he doesn't need someone else to tell him what to do when he already knows what he wants. I will suggest the 1/3, 2/3 split for all shared bills though. Not sure what to do about holidays and other expenses though. I feel that he will still expect me to pay for those, so we'll need to sit down and have a long conversation about expectations. Edit number 3, and hopefully the last one. Having spoken to him, we decided that moving forward, he will pay 1/3 of everything shared, and I would pay the rest. But he will have to cook around 3 times a week during the week. I cook during weekends anyway. As for the rest, I think he is reconsidering his views about gender roles, as I've shown him what everyone has been saying here. Thank you kindly, especially to those who took their time to give me suggestions and say something helpful. Gotta wonder how this ends up working out. Did this guy really get dragged so hard by Reddit that he changed everything about himself just like that? Remember that this subreddit is totally cucked and doesn't let people use words like man-child? Otherwise, I'm sure they would be. I am the wife, and it is my role to cook. By that logic, as the husband, it's his role to be the breadwinner and support you financially. But he seems quite happy for you to earn significantly more than he does. What exactly is he contributing to the relationship? Not the asshole. So many men want a trad wife but don't want to be a trad husband. If you can't earn enough for her to comfortably stay home without needing a job, then you need to be equitable in your relationship. Men who expect women to go 50-50, or worse in OP's case, don't get to force gender roles on their female partners. Not the asshole, except yourself for playing along with the "but cooking is your responsibility because you're a woman" nonsense. Since it seems like OP is handling most of the expenses and household duties, perhaps what her husband actually wants is a surrogate mommy. He earns less and has more free time. If anyone should be cooking more, it's him. Okay, let's look at one that's a little ambiguous for once, because some people prefer those. It's new for once, too. Am I the asshole for telling my daughter she can say goodbye to the rest of her college fund? My daughter is 17 and applying for colleges. We have a college fund saved up for her that we've been adding to since she was an infant. It's a good sizable chunk of money, and a lot of donations from the family have gone into it, as well as her own savings occasionally. We have always made it clear that the money is in there for college only. She never had to put her own savings in there. She has a separate savings account, but did so anyway. Anyway, her girlfriend lives in Australia, and they are both insanely big Supernatural fans. They have both wanted to go to a convention for years, at least 5 that I can remember. 2 of the main guys are going to be at a convention in Australia. She begged me to let her go. I said no, but the con is set for after her 18th. I can't stop her if she pays for it. I assumed she would use her savings. I checked the college fund to add some in and noticed a chunk of money missing. I went to speak to my daughter about it, and she admitted to using the money to pay for the convention. She bought herself plane tickets, her girlfriend plane tickets, other end of the country, both of their con tickets, as well as booking a hotel. The con is 3 or 4 days, but she's planning on staying a couple weeks and making a vacation out of it. All in all, she's taken about $10K. I might not even be the best to talk about this because it blows my mind that people even expect their parents to pay for them to go to college. Certainly nothing that ever would have happened for me. Or I think most of my friends. I lost it, honestly. Demanded she cancel, which fell on deaf ears. I tried to cancel for her, but she won't be refunded everything, so I'm hesitant to do so. She's insisting that it's her money and that she can do what she likes with it. Claims she still has enough for college, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I believe this has shown her extreme immaturity and inability to manage her future and money. I am so incredibly angry that she would go and do this. I told her that she could say goodbye to the rest of her college fund and have locked the account. I'm now the only person with access. She said she'll pay it back, but it seems unlikely. My wife thinks I'm being harsh and that she's right. She put at least $5K into the account herself, so she really only took $5K, which my mother-in-law has since said she'll pay back. I think this just teaches her she can pay her way out of messes. I was certain in my decision, but everyone is acting like I'm the asshole. She's a teenage girl and her entire life shouldn't revolve around college. I'm still uncertain, so here I am. Am I the asshole? What's wrong with paying your way out of messes if your messes are debts? I thought that was the proper way to settle things. Most people here are saying that she shouldn't have had access to the account in the first place, which makes sense. This is the way to go. Never trust kids with the money for college. Pay for it yourself. True story, my brother-in-law pretended he was going to college for almost 3 years, spent the money God knows where. It must have been about 10,000 euros. His mom works in Italy and she was sending the money from there. Afterwards, my mother-in-law even told me that a couple times her son would text/call her and tell her that he needed money to buy a formal shirt for a presentation for college, and he didn't have the money, and could she just send him 50 euros for clothes? And she works full-time, so it wasn't like she could just go downtown and send it through Western Union. She had to ask her boyfriend, whose job does have him moving around downtown most days, if he could lend her the 50 euros and send it to her son. It was a huge thing. I still have no idea how they got through it. How do people handle being such a worthless piece of shit? I was so pissed off that month I got stolen from and couldn't pay rent for like 10 days. I do want to say that he probably should still let her use the money for college if that's what it was put aside for in the first place. I stopped talking to a friend when she told me she was doing that. Her parents thought she was still attending her classes and were paying for her existence. We worked together, but it was just fun money for her. She'd stopped going to school, and for over 2 years they thought they were paying for her education. I couldn't look at her the same way after she told me all that. Jesus, it's an epidemic. I think I saw a true crime story where the guy was doing this, and then he killed his family so they didn't have to find out. I did. Anyway, let me know if you agree with the top Reddit comments. But that is about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say, make sure you let me hear it in the comments. I'm no genius at advice, but it is fun reading the Reddit comments sometimes. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I'm currently getting negative subs, I think, so let's get some work done. And now big thanks also to my awesome patrons, who help me out a lot when I'm not uploading. I couldn't sit in front of a computer for a while this month, like physically, but I think I'm backish. I must be getting old. Thanks again to, Jimbo, Bartholomew Q. Wiener, Ennui Blue, Levon, Maxo11X, Chris Sturman, Chef Casa, Jade Demby, Alberto 2001, Big Mike Shirley, Cacti Lady Wither, Cho, Daniel Della Pena, Don Smith, DevNotes, Ouroboros, Sammy, Sazandora, Skepticals, Wernology, William Ash, Zephyrin, Bumbus McDunga, John Yorkie, Psychic Kumquat, Alex Anakin, Alan Fang, Francois Tremblay, Knit1 Code 2, Lil Spoon, Molly Mayhem, S. Johnson, and Petulant Panda. Thanks once again. I will be back soon with at least more of this and more of Russell Greer's book. Nice guy posts have unfortunately been kind of sparse lately. Well, have a great day, everyone, and try not to put bros before hoes so much that your girlfriend thinks you're gay.